Hi everyone. In this video, I'm going to be demonstrating one of the most profitable side hustles of 2024. This side hustle in the past has made me over $20,000 as a young teenager. Using the information in this video, I'm going to help you make thousands of dollars as a teenager with very little effort. So what am I talking about? I am talking about car flipping. Now, you've heard all sorts of people do car flipping in the past and how they've made some money from it. I think car flipping is one of the most underrated side hustles that we can possibly do in 2024. Sure, car flipping can be a lot of work and it is certainly not passive income. However, it can be extremely profitable and outweigh any part-time job that you may be holding while in high school. If done properly, flipping cars can also scale quite well and become a full-time career if you are wanting to go that route. So how do you start? To start with car flipping, you simply want to do research, just like anything. Doing the necessary research before buying your first car flip can be vital in the success of the plan that you are trying to implement. I recommend looking at car values online and particularly local listings to see how the values stack up in your area. You can use tools like Kelley Blue Book, NADA, which is what the banks use to give out loans, and also you can use online dealer websites. Now, some of these websites, such as Kelley Blue Book, can be wildly inaccurate on car values, but they'll at least give you a place to start that you can bounce off from. You want to find a vehicle that you can purchase in cash at the time of sale. Now, this might only be $2,000 to $3,000 to $4,000, but that's okay. We can make a profit in that range, and that works just fine. Bringing cash to the table during a negotiation can yield extreme discounts at the time of the sale. If you're trying to follow this video for the first time and you have relatively no car knowledge, I would recommend sticking to common cars that are relatively simple and low maintenance. These cars would include older Hondas and Toyotas. Hondas and Toyotas are known for being incredibly reliable and simple to work on, and they are often sought after by people who are looking to purchase a car. Finding a simple car that has inexpensive parts will maximize your profits and allow you to continue car flipping through the future. Once you have narrowed down to a model of car that fits your criteria and is within your budget, go ahead and start searching local listings to find your perfect car. I often chose cars that were rare and needed quite a bit of work, but for the vast majority of people, I would recommend steering way clear of doing what I did, as it didn't always turn out super well. I would recommend finding cars that have poor quality photos, poor quality listing descriptions, and a really unmotivated seller. These are generally vehicles that owners want to get rid of quickly. They may have inherited it from a relative or bought it really cheap and now it has a couple issues that they no longer want to worry about. You swooping in with cash will allow you an easy transaction and the seller will most likely come down in their price because you were so quick. Once you found some listings that show some amount of promise, go ahead and reach out to the seller to schedule a time to go look at the vehicle. Then go ahead and go look at the car. I would recommend bringing a mechanic if you have one, or just look up technical guides for what to look for during a car inspection. Also, if you have any mechanically inclined friends that you can bribe with a slice of pizza or two, have them come along as well. If you don't have any car knowledge, you want to check the basics. Go ahead and check all the fluids, the tires, the brakes, overall condition of the vehicle. You'll know when you found a good car when everything is in mostly good condition. However, it needs a little bit of tender loving care to go back on the market. Now, you want to stay clear of buying a car that needs thousands of dollars worth of work to get back up on the road. These repairs can be expensive, especially if you don't know what you're doing and you're not a mechanic and you have to send it to a mechanic. The car you find should generally need some basic maintenance and a good, thorough cleaning, as well as some nice photos and a good quality description to go back up online. Once the car checks out, now is the time that makes up all the difference. It is time to negotiate. When negotiating, try to point out each of the flaws that the car has and try and use that as leverage to get the price down. Now, like I said, many sellers are unmotivated, so you can often get the price to go down way further than you possibly think you could. I've bought cars that were listed at $6,000, $7,000, $8,000 for only $2,000 or less simply by negotiating properly. You'll get better at negotiating over time, but it's always good to try and understand what each repair and the cleaning is going to cost before you buy the car. Remember, each thing that you're going to fix is going to factor in the overall profits of the car when you go to sell it next. Once the seller agrees to your price, you're ready to go. Now, an important step is to make sure you go ahead and get the title and make sure it is clean. You can follow any local laws to make sure the title is clean and what that may look like. You may want to get any maintenance records that the previous seller might have. This can be invaluable when trying to sell the car the next time, as someone who's looking to buy will be more comfortable purchasing from you if you have a long list of maintenance records. Next up is prepping the car to be sold again. You'll want to start by removing any personal belongings from the previous owner in the car and taking off the old license plates if they had left them. Anytime I bought a car for the $2,000 to $4,000 range, there was often at least a dozen little tree air fresheners and several pieces of clothing that needed to be removed as soon as humanly possible. Once you have removed all of the personal items, now it is time to get cleaning. You want to go to Walmart, an auto parts store, or purchase some supplies online. I would recommend getting a set of detail brushes, some all-purpose cleaner / degreaser, and probably some carpet shampoo. You don't need to spend a ton on these supplies. You can always purchase more and spend a little bit more money in the future as you do more car flips. Another invaluable tool I would recommend, if you can afford it, is to go ahead and get a brush on a drill that you can use to clean the carpets. This will speed up the process immensely and save you tons and tons of time. Use the supplies that you purchased to go ahead and clean the inside, outside, every nook and cranny of this car that you just purchased. Being in this $2,000 to $4,000 range, it is most likely going to be filthy. Again, this will give you more leverage to make the vehicle look nice for when you post it in the future. You'll want to spend a decent amount of time cleaning the inside and the outside of the car, as it will affect the overall value and perceived value by the next buyer. Once the car is clean, the next step is to complete any basic maintenance that you have. I always recommend trying to replace tires, brakes, or any other safety items that may be worn out on the vehicle. Doing basic maintenance for the next buyer will ensure the car is safe and also look a whole lot better on a listing description. Now, you should have the car really spick and span, and you'll want to take it to a nice location to take some high quality photos. While most modern day phones can absolutely take some incredible photos, if you have access to a professional DSLR or mirrorless camera, I would recommend using it if you can. This will provide that your listing stands out a little bit more than the competition. Take the car to a nice local park or a really nice high-end neighborhood, somewhere that you can be legally, and take between 20 and 40 pictures of the car. You'll want to make sure you note any good features of the vehicle, such as the radio, Bluetooth, or heated seats. These can all be captured in a photo and subsequently uploaded later. You'll want to make sure you capture every angle of the outside of the car, the engine bay, the inside of the car, as well as the trunk or rear hatch. If you did any maintenance items, make sure to take photos of those as well. If you have access to a photo editing tool, go ahead and toss those photos that you took into that editing tool, and then you can throw a quick filter on it or do some nice color grading. Once you have the photos created, you can go ahead and start creating the listing. Now, you can use any platform you would like for this. I often use Facebook Marketplace or Facebook groups, but feel free to use eBay Motors, Craigslist, or OfferUp. I would recommend cross-posting this between all of the different platforms, as it just gives you the best chance of selling the vehicle quickly. Choose your platform that you would like, or like I mentioned, go ahead and cross-post it between all the different platforms, and then you'll want to work on a high-quality listing description. You'll want to include a friendly introduction, a list of any recent maintenance that the car might have, and also a list of all the features that the car has. You may also want to point out some of the imperfections of the vehicle if it has anything unsafe or major. This may lower your profits just a little bit or give someone negotiating power, but you may also want to, like I mentioned before, replace these items. Great. Now that you have that done, go ahead and choose a listing price that makes sense for you. You want to go $500 to $1,000 more than you actually think you want, and this will give you the room to have someone negotiate the price down. You want to make sure you post the car even after that $500 to $1,000 buffer to make you a decent profit after any taxes, fees, maintenance, or otherwise that you had performed. Now you're ready to post it. Go ahead and click the post button. Make sure it is in all the applicable areas, including any Facebook groups or marketplace settings that you would like it to be on. Go ahead and go through each of the messages that you start to get and respond with a nice, polite response. It's always a good idea to be kind during these interactions, as again, we want to make sure everything feels safe, trustworthy, and on the up and up. You want to be patient with the person that's messaging you and answer any questions that they might have. Eventually, when it gets to the point that they want to go ahead and schedule, go ahead and pick a time that is good for you and them and find a public place to meet them. Another thing to note is that it is normal for people to randomly stop responding on Marketplace and any of the other platforms. This is normal. You can go ahead and just ignore them. They may start responding again, but you never know, so you might as well just move on and not waste your time with them. I just want to reiterate, overall, you want to remain kind and positive so that people want to come look at the car. When someone comes and looks at the car, they're most likely going to try and lowball you. Now, not everyone is going to do this, but it is pretty common. If you're asking $4,000 or $5,000, someone might offer $1,500 or $2,500, which is an abysmal offer. They may also try and use the tactics that you use to negotiate the car down when you purchased it, such as pointing out all of the flaws and explaining how they're going to have to fix them. Now, hopefully there aren't too many flaws on the vehicle, but being in this price range, I understand things are going to be wrong. You won't want to fall for any of the negotiation tactics. You will definitely want to stand your ground if you have done the proper research and know the value of the vehicle that you are currently selling. There are always other buyers available, so don't fret if the first one doesn't work out. You can always meet with others and always continue messaging with the people that you were messaging with before. Take your time and work out a fair price. If you land at a price where the profit of your sale turns into $1,000 or $2,000 or $3,000, go ahead and accept the offer. Once you accept the offer, make sure you go ahead and begin the paperwork. This is an imperative step, and you'll want to get a bill of sale as well. Check with your local laws to see what you need to do with the title, bill of sale, and any other information, as well as it is always illegal to float titles, and by float titles, that means not putting your name on the title and not registering it to your name, so always make sure you're doing things legally. I do not recommend selling it or floating the title when the title is not in your name. Congrats, now you sold the vehicle. You made a profit and you are ready to start your next one. Hopefully you made a few $1,000s that you can then put towards the next vehicle to kind of level up. There are some caps that states have on how many vehicles you can sell during a year before you need to get a dealer's license, but make sure you look that up before you begin selling. With the extra money that you now have, go ahead and try to repeat this process multiple times and make a few extra $1,000s per month. I find the best range to stay within is that $3,000 to $10,000 range, as this provides the overall best profits, and generally the listings in this range are abysmal. Now you can see this side hustle isn't foolproof by any means. It does take quite a bit of elbow grease, but I used this as a teenager, and you can as well, to continue making thousands of dollars in your teenage years. Now, many of you may say that $1,000 or $2,000 is not a whole lot of money, but if you're an early teenager, say 15, 16, 17 years old, and your alternative is working a part-time job at McDonald's, you're going to make a heck of a lot more money being able to flip cars. You can also transfer these skills to other jobs. You can eventually become a car salesman, a car dealer, or any other type of salesman in the future. These are imperative skills to get you through life, and it sets up a good foundation for you in the future. Now, if you like these types of videos, leave a like and let me know in the comments down below so that I can keep doing it and create more for you guys.